But let's get more in depth into what happened with Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
So I didn't actually watch any of it because I kind of forgot it was going on, and I was grinding more Minecraft like a maniac.
I was
But
away, but I tried to grab what I could on Twitter.
yeah. So we'll go across some of the main bits here. So 3 films got announced as
Yes.
coming soonish.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got James Mangold, who is doing a film set at the dawn of the Jedi, which is Old Republic era by the sounds of it.
Yep.
Which
Right.
is exciting.
Right at the start of the Jedi, which is kind of what I've said I've wanted is like to go way back to like Height of Sith or like really early on.
We just didn't think we get to see it, but we're
No.
getting it, baby.
So I'm very excited for that film.
Yeah. Then we've got Filoni getting a film.
Yes. Which he said has come about because of him slowly doing more with Mando and getting to do obviously run the Ahsoka series, kind of let him get his foot in the door.
Yeah, he's forced the door open and gone, "You gonna give me a full film now?
Yeah.
You're gonna give it to me?"
It's like, oh, so can I direct one, just a film? So he's doing a film that is going to close out the Mandoverse,
High Republic Mandoverse.
The Mandoverse, which is Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka. It's going to close all that out.
This film is going to explain how Palpatine returned.
I actually like that film. I can see it now, right? Ahsoka is going to do her whole thing of searching for like Thrawn and all that malarkey. It's all going to lead into Thrawn, something happened to him, but then it's gonna the big underlying thing of the film is gonna be this is how Palpatine gets to the point where like they start cloning him. Like they're gonna show how they figure it out, I think, so that we know. Then when you go into the films, you're like, oh well, they figured out that tech. It's only a matter of time.
What I will say is, if in this film we do not get an elderly Wrecker chilling with Grogu, I'm going to be upset. I need him to find a way to make it work.
To make Wrecker survive all the way through.
Yeah. I need big boy Wrecker with Grogu in tiny little Mandalorian armor, chilling on his shoulder, charging.
I don't know. I'm still, as much as I'd love Wrecker to make it all the way to there, I'm worried. We'll mention Bad Batch, but like I'm worried for them. But yeah. And then the third film.
Yeah. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is doing a film set after the sequel trilogy.
Which I don't think anyone saw coming.
Yeah, starring Daisy Ridley back as Rey, in which she's building a new Jedi Order.
Yeah, it's going to be set 15 years? Something like 15 years. I mean,
we both said the same number there, so that's probably a good sign.
15 years after the end of Episode 9.
Yeah, and people have already been doing some maths. That would make Grogu about 90 years old.
Which means he should be talking.
Which is right around the time that Yoda became a Jedi Master. So it's more than feasible that Grogu's going to be like competent in what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So
I have seen the fan base is kind of split because, and I'm of the opinion, I think everyone can agree, the Disney trilogy wasn't that it was a terrible storyline. It was just a jumbled mess because of the director changes, and then it's like storyline. It just all got lost and messed up. It could have been great. I do think Daisy Ridley was great as Rey. I think Rey's character was great. Then bringing her back feels like I kind of hope Dave, even though he's not the one directing it, I hope he has a strong hand in it, as he's been trying to repair everything on the build-up. I hope it goes one or two ways, right? They either do stuff that repairs the story enough and makes people go, okay, we like this character now. A bit like with Anakin. When Anakin, the prequels came out, people hated the Anakin character. They didn't really like it. Now everyone loves Anakin and Christian. And it's
I
like,
think Star Wars fans are kind of like COD fans. They hate anything new until it's not new anymore, and then they begin to instantly reminisce.
yeah,
So, the people who hated Rey are going to watch this new film and go, they ruined Rey. Bring back old Rey. Old Rey was great. You have ruined her.
or do you know what's going to happen is people will watch and go, this is what Rey should have been. Why did we not like it's going to either save the Disney trilogy, in my opinion, to the point, not like to make it a masterpiece, but like in the sense of it feels better than it did when it first came out. Or if this film isn't well received, like it's just gonna, everyone's just gonna be like, everything after the Mandoverse film shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It,
I'm hoping that I hope all of these films are good and successful,
yes, so am I.
but I want the Filoni and Manigold film,
Hmm.
or Mangold film, sorry, to do markedly better. Because A, I really care about the Mandoverse being closed off
Yeah,
nicely, and I want them to have a legitimate reason to delve deeper into the Old Republic.
yes. I'm I want the Daisy Ridley Ray one to do well because I want, and I would hope, I want them to use it as an opportunity to fill in a lot of problems with that trilogy, like they've been trying to do. Like it's an opportunity for them to kind of retcon and fix stuff, which will be good. Um, I think the good thing though as well is like, although these three films were announced, we've talked about that Tahiti work. I can't say his
Taika
Taika
Waititi.
Waititi. He is still doing his trilogy.
Yeah, so after I think the first day, a lot of people were concerned that his film had been silently scrapped. And
Yes.
then on like the second day, they confirmed, while there's no updates on it right now, he's still diligently working away on it.
Yeah, and they are not adding other people. So they've got these directors doing one each. They've said like they don't want to mess with his style and his vision. So they're not going to try and put anyone else into it to
And
help.
that film is going to be divisive as fuck when it comes out.
Yes.
Because Taika Waititi has a very him style,
Mm-hmm.
and Star Wars fans are very particular.
Mm-hmm.
That film is going to get shit on relentlessly on the timeline, but I know me and you both quite enjoying his style are probably
Mm-hmm.
going to love it.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that will love it. But I do like that, let's be honest, they've learned from the Disney trilogy that they can't just switch directors around and just chuck whoever at it in between. They need to let it be one person having a cohesive trilogy. So I'm positive in that sense that they're not going to mess with it and they're letting him do his thing. So that should be interesting.
Indeed. We also got confirmation that Bad Batch is getting a third and final season.
Yes. I'm calling it now. The However the season ends, this is not the end of the animated stuff. The next show that's going to come out is going to be based around Rex and what he's up to, and it's essentially just going to carry on straight from the end of Bad Batch season 3, just like Bad Batch carried on from Clone Wars.
Okay,
I
but hear me out. Hear me
Okay.
out. What if instead
Oh,
Dave goes, "Oh, we're doing Old Republic stuff.
why
I
not
have an
both?
idea for an animated show."
Why not both?
Because you know what Dave's like. He likes to get sturdy with it.
He does, but he is loving giving us all the shows.
He is. I just don't want him to get burnt out and then have to take a really long break where it all goes to shit.
I don't. Yeah, I get you. I I just think
Dave, look after your mental health, please,
because
for
you
the
got to
love of the
think
Star Wars fandom.
there's still obviously depending what happens in Bad Batch season 3, it's obviously going to be an absolute rampage of them hunting down Omega. Um, depending how it ends, there's still going to be a lot of things that can be filled in that gap that he's been doing. That's why I'm like, oh, maybe Rex can help bridge the gap even closer to Rebels and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll keep going with essentially this is all Clone Wars animated. We've said that multiple times. Whatever comes next is just going to be the next bit. It's just following a different character
Yeah.
till he gets up to Rebels, I think, timeline wise. And then he'll be like, okay, I'm happy now. That's all been filled in and I've retconned and fixed any issues.
Yeah,
Then he'll
but
move on.
have you seen the concern? So I think this is a slight spoiler for Rebels that I've accidentally seen. You
Oh,
don't need to confirm if it is or isn't.
okay.
Um, I feel like I saw a scene of a really old Rex in white hair, which is why I think it's Rebels that was resembled after the person who's allegedly Captain Rex in the Battle of Endor. Having like a PTSD moment where he's like, Cody, no. And then after everyone saw Cody in Bad Batch season 2, everyone's like, oh no, is Cody gonna become good again? And then we're gonna have to watch Cody die alongside Rex. So that could be really upsetting next season.
I do.
Or in this fictional show that you're thinking logically, and you're right. There's definitely room for it to go between Bad Batch and the start of Rebels.
There's gonna be some sad moments in Bad Batch season 3.
Yeah.
I see it coming. I do think
it's
there's
future
stuff. There's also here's a theory, like bit of a tangent, but I saw it on TikTok. In the original trilogy, one of the I forget which one it is, but one of the bases the Rebels is going to, it's called Echo Base. Yes. And someone's like,
No.
obviously back
I
then,
swear to God, Dave.
I was like, obviously back then, they like it's just called Echo Base, probably because of military alphabet or whatever. But
If it's named after war hero Echo,
yeah, but if Dave's
Dave
gone,
Filoni is in legitimate danger.
I have an idea for a character in an interesting way. Yeah, I saw the fear was like, is something? Are we potentially going to see something happen to Echo, which is why that base then gets called Echo?
If that ends up happening, Dave Filoni is in physical danger.
If that ends up happening, Dave Filoni is a creative mastermind.
I mean, I think he passed creative mastermind a little while ago.
But like,
when that man sat down and unironically went, "I'm going to fix the Disney trilogy."
Yeah, as early
and
as
the crazy son of a bitch looks like he's going to pull it off as well.
Yeah, I can't. So here's the fun thing. It's like keeping on a little tangent. It's like once all this is wrapped up, like Mandoverse and the new Ray film, whatever, and this whole chunk is done, and Dave can sit back and go, and the Disney trilogy makes sense. I look forward to an interview at the end of it where someone goes, "So why did you take the Disney trilogy so personally?"
Got on us being the one to deliver that interview.
And he just goes,
Dave,
well,
open invite. Drop us a DM. You can come on whenever you want, pal. Open seat.
I can't wait for like him to do an interview. He's like, well, after the end of the third one, I went to George and I was just like, we have to fix this. And it's like him to admit that like he knew as soon as he's seen the film, I'm fixing this. Like if he admits that and that's been his whole goal, I
wrote for 6 months straight.
just to fix that one line that he heard of Palpatine's back somehow.
When the man spent 9 seasons of Clone Wars making sure Anakin and General Grievous never met, we know how seriously that man takes an individual line of dialogue.
Yes, exactly. It's honestly, if it's going to lead up to that, just purely that one line has set this man off on a path of creation. And
does it almost not make the suffering of that trilogy worth it though? If it gave us
that's what I was just about to say.
Ahsoka show and the Mandalorian.
I was just about to say what was probably deemed one of the worst lines in Star Wars because everyone was like, "What the fuck? This makes no sense."
What
Has
do you mean
actually,
somehow Palpatine returned? We saw that motherfucker die 40 years ago.
it's like, has actually produced some of the best Star Wars content in years because
By accident.
Dave's trying to fix it. Well, anyway, we got on a bit of tangent there, but
Yeah.
also at the Star Wars Celebration, there was some details on Andor released. So season 2 is going to be set a year after.
Yeah.
Every 3 episodes is the span of a year.
Yeah.
Don't know how many episodes in total we're getting.
Well, we got 12 in the first season, so I'm going to assume we get the same. Which would be 4 years.
Which takes us very close to Rogue One, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably means to only get one more season after that.
So I'm down for like a faster time-based thing of like him slowly building this thing up and building up on missions and his little team.
I think we're going to see a lot more action this way.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to know who's also returning?
Go on.
Andy Serkis. Okay. Yes. So my theory that he isn't dead and that he got recaptured, we're going to be pulling that clip up eventually. You don't know how to.
No. Honest to God, it makes me just want to go watch that clip of him giving that speech again.
Mm-hmm.
Because that speech makes me ready to like fight God, even without the power of anime on my side.
Have you not seen the thing at the end of day one when all the people that were dressed up as prisoners were chanting "One Way Out" or whatever and running through the convention?
Nice.
But yeah,
that Andor show is just peak Star Wars. As much as I love Mando, as much I'm gonna love Ahsoka, as much as I love Bad Batch, Andor is peak storytelling.
Oh,
and I can't wait for more of it.
Something else I've just remembered that we haven't put on here. There was a few little details about Skeleton Crew revealed. There was some more cast members,
Yes,
and
we got to see some of the crew.
Yeah, and it's essentially going to be about a crew of youngsters.
Okay.
Traveling the galaxy. So I imagine they get up to shenanigans.
But Jude Law is not that young.
No, he isn't. But is it going to be a case
like
of
their mentor?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe. Or it's going to be, I don't know, time hopping it. I don't know. There's still very little details on it, which I'm kind of all for. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we don't really know a lot about it, but
it'll be interesting to see what fits into things as well, and like what goes on.
The big one for me was the news about Acolyte.
Oh yeah, it had a new logo as well.
Yeah, so it's got a new logo, but also apparently the story is basically around two twin sisters, one who goes to the dark side and one who goes to the light.
Yeah, there's some,
which sounds interesting as fuck.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get. Do you know what that reminds me of? You know, the Star Wars MMO cinematics.
Yeah.
And there's the one of the two twin brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And in the cinematic, one of them turns evil and one of them stays like there's a yellow. I feel like everyone loved those cinematics from the game, right? And I've been like, oh, they told so much story in just like a cinematic more than we got in the Disney trilogy. Why do I feel like someone at Disney, someone saw that and was like, fans really love this idea of like twins going opposite paths. We should make that into something.
I mean, it's such a good story, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Two twins, both Force sensitive. One goes light, one goes dark. Come on now.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for Acolyte. That's also going to be something that's going to be great.
Yep.
And then the other kind of big announcement at the celebration was Return of the Jedi is returning to theaters.
April 28th.
Yes. I presume it'll be on
film's 40th. I don't know how many theaters it's being shown in.
No, and I don't know if it's on for like a week or so, like if they're doing it for a little short.
So here's the thing I also am really interested about. Are they showing legitimately the original film, or are they showing the version that's available on Disney Plus? Because I have never actually seen the original film, because by the time I was old enough, it's impossible to get the original film.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've only ever seen a digital version of it, and even since I've been born, there's been like 3 or 4 uplifts to it. So if they are actually showing the legitimate original film, I'm willing to like trek into London to see that. If they're just showing what I can watch on Disney Plus, I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, it's cool they're doing it. I'm sure some people are gonna love it, but it's not worth my time.
Apparently, it is a re-release of the classic film, but I don't know if that means, because obviously the film in general is a classic film now, but I don't know if they say which version.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
they've
mean, the only way
announced it
I'd
yet.
yeah, I guess the only way we'd really have a chance of knowing is if at the end we see Hayden Christensen isn't Anakin.
Hmm.
That's going to be pretty big giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. They haven't said. I can't find anything on if they've said what version it is. Because they just showed a poster.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's really cool. And like I said, I'm
Mm.
sure a lot of people will love being able to go and see this. And if it's playing at like my local cinema, I'd be tempted.
Yeah,
But I
that's
just,
the thing.
if it's only at select cinemas, I'm only making the trek if it is something I've genuinely not seen before because I've never been able to.
I look forward to once all these like the Mando film and everything's done, a cinema needs to put on a marathon that goes in timeline order. Episode 1 even shows all the important animated Clone Wars.
Also, like, get rid of all the filler episodes and just show
Yeah,
the main arcs.
it goes all the way through Mando, Ahsoka, all the way to the
What do you
final.
reckon, Horry? At 10,000 subs, we rent out a cinema for a weekend and do it.
I think we might need longer than a weekend. I don't know how much runtime all that is.
Well, we just agreed to no pauses and people just pee when they need to pee.
Yeah. Everyone goes to pee during episode 2.
Episode 2, the toilet break.
And then you can have another one at episode 7, because, yeah. But I think that was all the Star Wars news.
Yeah.
Other than some little bits.